What you doing here?
Wherever my kids are, I'm popping up.
Don't pop up. This is my time with the kids.
No, I'm just
like
saying.
our
Whatever.
time.
Listen, okay, we ain't got to fuss in front of the kids.
Yeah, I don't want to fuss. I said our time.
Hey, kids, are you guys going for a moment?
Anticipation filled the air as Martell Holt stepped into that courtroom. The heavy doors closed, the lights dimmed slightly, and for a moment, everything felt suspended. He stood there, once the accomplished husband and father. Now a man under scrutiny, his every move watched. The children were in the room too, for little faces he helped bring into the world, faces that trusted him, looked up to him. Then came the words nobody wanted to hear. Accusations, betrayals, cold legalese that cut through the quiet. And in that moment, something broke. The father who promised protection and love now found himself in the crosshairs, not just of a judge or the law, but of his own kids' disbelief. What was supposed to be simple parenting turned into something darker, more complicated. His children slammed him through whispered tears, through courtroom glances, through statements that echoed far louder than words. But maybe the worst blow was not the allegations themselves. It was the realization that someone they once adored was no longer untouchable.
That transition to be pretty much, it's best for the kids.
I have the kids for 2 weeks, well, usually 3, because when your 2 weeks up, for you to get them, you don't want them yet. So I have them for 3 weeks, you have them for 2. I think that worked.
That shift from hero to headline made everything real, messy, and heartbreakingly human, because when you're forced to fight in public for the people you love the most, the stakes aren't just legal, they're personal. And this story, it's about what happens when the man who built a life around being the provider, the leader, the father, suddenly watches it all unravel. He wasn't always in the headlines for the wrong reasons. Martell grew up in modest surroundings, learning early about responsibility and ambition. He married the love of his life, Melody, Holt, and together, they dreamed of building something bigger than themselves, a family, a future, success. They welcomed their children's daughters, sons into a world of possibility. Martell built businesses, spoke of Black excellence, used his platform to motivate. He and Melody seemed to have it all: a strong partnership, a growing brand, and a media-savvy reality show that gave them visibility and respect. But even in that glow of success, the undercurrents were there. Long days, early mornings, meetings that pulled him away from home. She juggled work and motherhood. The cameras walked with them, but the parts off camera, the quiet moments began to feel different. The couple who once stood united started drifting into parallel lives. Martell was handling deals, changing appearances, posting motivational quotes. Melody was holding the home front, caring for the children, trying to keep the foundation from cracking. Friends and family noticed the tension. Small disagreements turned into fuel for speculation. The strain of the spotlight, the business pressure, the parenting demands, everything piled up. Then came the affair. The whispers. The proof. His years-long relationship with another woman reached the surface, and that world they built began to fracture. There were emails. There were disputes. The public caught wind of the betrayal. With that, the family unit, the one Martell had boasted about, began to look fragile. Melody filed for divorce, custody battles started. The narrative shifted fast from triumph to turmoil. And the kids. They were watching. They were living this. The man who once tucked them in, built Legos with them, now became part of the story no child wants to see. My parents are fighting. Is Daddy okay? What's happening to our family? It was heartbreaking to witness. Through the cameras and behind the scenes, the laughter stopped being effortless. The smiles started carrying weight, and the promises to protect, to stay, to love felt like they were evaporating in plain sight. Then the main act of drama unfolded. The courtroom doors opened again, this time under a different light. Martell was up against allegations that cut deep, that he had disciplined children with excessive force, that his behavior in co-parenting was erratic, that his relationships and choices were causing harm to the ones he once said he loved most. Melody's legal filings painted a chilling picture, accusing him of using objects to hit his children, of slurs, of orchestrating a schedule that deliberately kept him away from them for long stretches. The blast plus one, he claimed he was a protector. The court was hearing that maybe he was. Something else entirely. What nobody expected was the children themselves voicing in court how they felt. The daughter who once looked to him with admiration now sat in silence, frustrated. The son who believed his father had his back now questioned why he'd been left in limbo. Martell's pleas of innocence sounded hollow when echoed against mounting evidence. Instagram posts, message screenshots, custody filings that revealed the messy truth behind the scenes. Boza plus one a petition floated online. Fans demanding he be removed from the show because the father role he played wasn't matching the father he was allegedly being. Change.org. Plus 1AS. The tension built. The courtroom became a battleground of reputation. Martell accused Melody of playing the victim for the camera. He claimed the system was unfair. "I'm a father who loves my children." He wrote on Instagram, "Why am I being punished for the person I am?" Bosupi showed photos of him with his kids, smiling, hugging, calling it the evidence of his love. But the glare of public scrutiny didn't allow the charade to last. He walked into hearings with attorneys, countersuits, custody proposals. He demanded full custody and escalation that shocked viewers and supporters alike. Melody maintained she simply fought for their safety and stability. Urban Bell magazine plus one, and then came the explosion. A hearing in which Martell's demeanor shifted. Witnesses report that he argued with court-appointed guardians, possibly contempt charges hanging over his head. Words were raised. Voices echoed. The image of the composed father crumbled. In that moment, the narrative flipped. It wasn't just about business or reality TV drama, it was real life, and the consequences were measurable. Some say he looked like a man performing for an audience, trying to salvage a reputation he already lost. Others say it was tragic spectacle, his children watching their father break. The fallout spilled into social media, into tabloids, into petitions and posts. He kept posting his inspirational sayings, but the cracks had shown. The "I'm in control" persona was no longer enough. The questions multiplied. Was he defending his children or his ego? Was the man fighting for love or something more elusive? The affair, the betrayal, the custody fight, they were chapters in a larger story about a family unraveling in public view. Martell's maternal family weighed in. His mother, once supportive, now publicly criticizing Melody. Fans, once enamored with his hustle, turned skeptical. The reunion shows peeled back the veneer, exposing the raw substance of the split. The world watched as Martell and Melody engaged in interviews, cryptic posts, silent treatments, all captured by cameras, amplified by social platforms. Meanwhile, the children sat in the middle, yearning for brief moments of normalcy. Grieving the father who once said everything would be okay. And the biggest question remained: can you rebuild trust once the foundation is cracked? The emotional toll, it's enormous. Martell would tell you he's hurting. But how do you measure hurt when your children glance at you with guarded eyes? How do you face the daughters who once believed in your vision when they're now the ones filing complaints, distancing themselves? The mother who once stood next to you in business and life now stands across the courtroom aisle, firm, resolute. Martell's world shifted from boardrooms and cameras to depositions and judges. He's lost something intangible, not just public favor, but connection. The kind of breathless trust you get from a child's daddy, "I need you" whisper. The laughter in the house when the father walked through the door. The quiet confidence of knowing you're safe because he's there and the children are impacted. They live in routines filled with lawyers, custody schedules, social media commentary. Their father's story isn't just their zits on screens, in blogs, in petition sites. For them, childhood isn't just about friends and school, it's about waiting, about wondering, about processing adult betrayal. And as Martell tries to prove himself as the active parent, they're making sense of the absence, the broken promises, the emotional distance. Melody's strength is tested too. She's raising 4 children in a spotlight with real concerns about safety, love, and integrity. She's had to reframe her future, shield her children, and pick up the pieces of a relationship built on shared dreams that crashed hard. For Martell's career, this might be the turning point. The rise narrative that built him is overshadowed by the fall narrative looming in every headline. His voice, once commanding, motivational, is now defensive and echoes over old mistakes. Yes, he still has his businesses, his platforms, his ambition, but ambition without trust can feel hollow. The father they knew may still exist, but the father they believe in, that's under reconstruction, if it's even salvageable. Relationships beyond the courtroom aren't spared either. The woman who claimed his loyalty and the son born outside the marriage. The jealousy, the claims of manipulation, the public expose FHO's factors in the wider context of betrayal. Bosa +1 Martell's alliances, his romantic choices, his public persona. They're all part of the puzzle that led to this moment. And the quiet truth. None of these narratives will be neatly wrapped up. The scars of broken trust stay. The rebuild is messy and uncertain. In the end, we're left with a man standing in the ruins of his own making, surrounded by the echoes of what once was. He once held the vision, strong father, loving husband, successful entrepreneur. He had followers, fans, a show, a brand. But when the public caught wind of the betrayal, with that, the family unit, the one Martell had boasted about, began to look fragile. Melody filed for divorce, custody battles started. The narrative shifted fast from triumph to turmoil. And the kids. They were watching. They were living this. The man who once tucked them in, built Legos with them, now became part of the story no child wants to see. My parents are fighting. Is Daddy okay? What's happening to our family? It was heartbreaking to witness. Through the cameras and behind the scenes, the laughter stopped being effortless. The smiles started carrying weight. And the promises to protect, to stay, to love felt like they were evaporating in plain sight. Then the main act of drama unfolded. The courtroom doors opened again, this time under a different light. Martell was up against allegations that cut deep, that he had disciplined children with excessive force, that his behavior in co-parenting was erratic, that his relationships and choices were causing harm to the ones he once said he loved most. Melody's legal filings painted a chilling picture, accusing him of using objects to hit his children, of slurs, of orchestrating a schedule that deliberately kept him away from them for long stretches. The blast +1, he claimed he was a protector. The court was hearing that maybe he was. Something else entirely. What nobody expected was the children themselves voicing in court how they